Today, Music Talk introduces you to the down-home sounds of the Red Clay Strays. Their sweet home is in Alabama, where they dropped their record label, raised over $50,000 with their own crowdfunding campaign, and made their debut album, Moment of Truth, with no outside interference. As they like to say, our fans are our record label. We found them taking a break from rehearsals and signing posters.
Introduce yourselves, if you will, for me, please.
Hey, I'm Zach Richwell. I hit my bass player in the microphone. I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. You're the bass player, right? Yep. Who's that having a sip in the back?
Out there drinking the water. I'm Brandon.
Hey.
And this is John. He has to sign all of these posters because he's been slacking. He's been a bad boy. I'm looking forward to it.
The drummer usually is my experience.
It's okay.
I wish that those stereotypes were wrong, but they're really just not.
Yeah, they are. As far as I'm only speaking from my own experience, but there you go. So thanks for doing this, guys. This is very exciting. So how are you feeling about it all? Because it's kind of been a while, right?
Oh, excited.
It's been 5 years in the making.
Yeah.
Took us getting off a record label to get our own record out.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. No.
All right.
Within, I mean, it took a year to get off the label, and then within a month, we were in the studio recording. Yep.
Okay. So do I want to ask why you had to get off the label?
They just sucked.
No.
They didn't know what they were doing. They were movie producers turned trying to get into the music scene, and this didn't work out for
We
them.
were a band for what, 2, maybe 3 months?
We were a band for 3 months.
Yeah, we were young.
And they were like, dude, to sign this contract, we're all like, oh shit, a record deal.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Signing our souls away.
So my understanding is that so the album, now that it's finally made, you had to kind of fund it yourself. You did this whole crowdfunding thing and all that.
Yeah.
How did that
That's what
happen?
John's here signing posters for. We raised $50,000 in the first week or two. Yeah. We're at about 56,000 now with a week and a day left. So
Cool. I'm gonna hire you guys to raise some money for my website then.
hey, we'll try.
As long as we don't have to sign any more posters, man.
Yeah, as long as we're not signing posters or
Very
writing
good.
300 thank you letters.
I need a snap.
So the album itself is called Moment of Truth. So tell me a little bit about where it was recorded and when, just to get things rolling.
It was recorded in Huntsville, Alabama, at a fella's house named Noel Webster. I almost said Noah Shane. Yeah, he had a bunch. I think it was a radar board.
Yeah, it was all analog.
A bunch of stuff from the '60s. And
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. And so who do you have a producer on board? Were you producing it yourself? Who was kind of running the show?
That was just us.
Yeah, we're all self-contained in everything we do.
Well, I wouldn't say contained, but we definitely
We do it all ourselves, self-produced, and the next record will be pretty much self-recorded too. So
Right. So I mean that can
We
be
like
a
to keep
recipe for
everything-
disaster unless you got the right guys together.
yeah, everything we do is a recipe for disaster. We're just
pretty much.
There's a lot of disaster involved. We just don't talk about it.
I think we
Okay.
really are good at stopping ourselves from going down the
Yeah.
rabbit hole too much. You
Right.
know,
We're dumb. We're just not stupid.
yeah.
Gotcha.
You put all those together, pretty smart.
Yeah.
All right.
One fifth of a brain.
So, I mean, you guys are from the Southern United States. Do you consider yourselves part of some kind of Southern rock scene that's happening down there?
No, there's not really a Southern rock scene down. I mean, it's just a music scene. It's there's a lot of different genres, a lot of different bands. There are a lot of rock and roll bands. I will say that, but I wouldn't say it's like a specific Southern rock scene.
Yeah, specifically to our state of Alabama, there's been a lot of good music coming out of it.
Yeah.
Hold on,
That's
we
a
gotta-
fact. I mean,
Pop up.
we all know about Muscle Shoals, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. There's a lot of bands. There's not many that's been coming out in South Alabama where we are. We're on the Gulf Coast.
Right.
There's a lot that come out of like the Florence and Huntsville, Birmingham area.
Very good.
So we're trying to bring this scene up, put us on the map.
All right. And how would you describe that sound as opposed to any other Southern rock sound that we might be familiar with? How does it differ?
To our sound?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah, we haven't really been able to describe ourselves.
It's just a big melting pot of a lot of different things we grew up listening to, man. Like country music, blues, rock and roll, old country.
I just call it rock and roll. Dude.
Yeah,
we like to throw it in this rock.
There ain't a pedal steel nowhere near us
Yeah.
when we're playing. You know, I mean, and there's not, you know,
We're gonna pick one up eventually.
Something we pride ourselves on is not trying to like copycat anybody's sound, or
Right.
we literally just like we're doing today. We literally just stopped our rehearsal to do this meeting, but we just lock ourselves in and just whatever sounds good to our ears, and we play off each other.
Yeah. Well, I think you've accomplished that. I've heard the whole album, and it definitely has its own vibe about it. It begins
What
with.
do you think about it?
Yeah,
I love it. I enjoyed it immensely. There's also it was not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be, you know, kind of Leonard Skinner-y, Marshall Tucker band kind of thing, because I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
And
We like Skinner.
That's why we don't really call ourselves a Southern rock band, because that's a whole vein on its own, you know, and we don't really follow that. I mean, we love that music, but we don't really sound anything like that, you know?
Right. Yep. Well, the opening track is what? Stone's Throw begins with a pretty cool bass line going on, and it's got a kind of creepy vibe to it. So what can you tell me about that track? How did it come together?
If you can call what we got last night's sleep, Lord, we got a few hours. Blurred lines, fighting like hell to try to keep my eyes wide open. Always running from, running to, running late, or running out of. It's the return that keeps us going. Been gone for way too long. Can't count all the roads we've been down. Try to keep it between the ditches till the Dolly Parton bridges and the front window.
Me and my buddy Eric Erdman wrote it, 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
Wow.
And we worked it up, and we as a band loved it. I mean, we hit the song is about being on the road and coming home and seeing what's the name? What's the real name of the bridge?
The Chainsaw.
No, it's not the Tinsel. It's some other person's name.
But it's called the Dolly Parton Bridge, right?
Because it looks like two big boobies.
Okay. It's like the Grand Tetons.
It's got the nipples on it and everything.
Yeah, and that's not that's what everybody calls it.
So the longest part of that drive, when you're making it down 65, is from Montgomery to Mobile, and we've had many a night where we've come home at like 3 a.m. or something. But when you see that Dolly Parton Bridge, you know you're about home.
Yep.
So that's pretty much what that song's about. And as soon as I brought it in, I mean, it made itself. I mean, we all just came up with our own grooves and our own notes and whatnot, and it came together really quick.
It's a lot of playing and recording and listening, and then trying things different ways and recording that and listening,
and even a lot of it comes from our live shows.
Yeah.
Like we'll someone
test it out.
someone will throw something new in the song, and we kind of look at each other like, oh, that was cool.
That's dope.
And then it just keeps kind of building itself
Until we eventually just find a path and not stray from it.
Yeah.
You know,
until if it locks in for about 5 months, that's the way it's gonna stay.
Yeah.
But they're
All right.
pretty. Our songs are pretty. They stay constantly evolving.
All right. Now there's a tune called "Do Me Wrong," which to me sounds kind of got a soul sound to it. Almost remind me of "Stand By Me" back from the early '60s. Is that the kind of thing that you guys listen to? A lot of Stax, a lot of
You say you're in this, all the right reasons. There's been too many times I've questioned your intentions. Your words mean nothing if you never back them up. I've had all I can take. I've had more than enough.
A lot of those Muscle Shoals recording. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all went on a huge deep dive at one point in this past year. But like, I got really into those Muscle Shoals recordings, and just about every artist that you think of that recorded there. Why am I blanking on anybody's name that ever recorded there?
Dude, Wilson
Pickett. That's who
Wilson
that's who
Pickett,
I was
yeah.
gonna say. Wilson Pickett.
What they did that they created a sound. They created Motown. And, I've heard Aretha Franklin say,
Those were my
you
two.
know,
I was about
or
to say.
her people, they were like, dude, and I have to get those black people that are in there in that studio doing that. And the guy was like, hey man, there's a bunch of white nerdy guys, you know, and that's what everyone thought it was, because like it was so soulful and stuff.
Right, yeah.
You know, it used to blow everybody's mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's something in the water.
There is definitely something in the water down there. There's a tune called Killers, which has got some interesting production values associated with it. So I don't know if you can elaborate on what's going on with that tune, what that track and how it was put together.
Yeah, that's one my brother Matthew wrote, and I don't really remember as far as the composure how we come up with everything. We really just get in a room and start playing, you know, whatever comes to mind and working them up. And it takes a while to do that. And
That one
actually changed a little in the studio too.
yeah, we got to the studio, and the guy who we were recording with worked in like sound forensics, and he had there was this audio from the Vietnam War that was actually recorded on this little tape machine, but the battery had gone dead, but it was still recording. So it was just recorded, but very slowly.
Yeah.
So this guy had to fix all that up, and he sped the recordings up and made it sound. He used the machine guns the cadence of the machine guns to figure out how fast the recording should actually be. But anyway, he had that Vietnam recordings, and we were like, well, we got a song about a Vietnam veteran. And so we just kind of chopped up the audio and added it in throughout the song. Yeah, it ended up being pretty cool. Yep.
It is very cool because, I mean, it definitely sets the vibe for that tune. Just hearing that kind of staticky, you know, it almost sounds like radio interference coming in and out throughout the track. Yeah,
that's a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds that's over there fighting and shooting guns and getting shot at, and they're just running around trying not to get blown up. And it was really cool to be able to include that into the song.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those guys didn't get much respect coming back from the war.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even choose to go, you know.
Yeah.
And then they get the disrespect of, you know,
coming
like
back.
They chose to be there.
And that's really what the song kind of shines a light on, is, you know, how difficult it was to come back from all of that and not be accepted.
Right. Now, Brandon, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your singing. Did you have vocalists that you listened to growing up that you kind of were inspired by? I mean, there's all sorts of different styles here, but, you know, whether it's like almost 50s doo-wop or 60s soul or country rock, but your voice kind of holds it all together as such.
There wasn't specific people I listened to growing up. I have always liked older music, just even the way it sounds, you know, recorded on old equipment. I've always liked that, even as a little kid.
Right.
A wee little pup, yeah. And but yeah, just especially all the old Sun Records people. They have the reverb on the vocals and
sure,
just all the cool techniques they used to do back in the day before, you know, computers and everything were around. And so I would say that was definitely an influence. But yeah, I mean, I listened to a lot of country music growing up and a lot of rock and roll, and just I'm kind of all over the place with what I listen to. So, you know, probably a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of a son, I think I read somewhere somebody compared you to Elvis. So that's pretty hot.
It's just
high standard.
Never heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, definitely. again, just the Sun Records people, Elvis and Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash. They are all have pretty interesting vocal techniques that I've picked up on and learned from. I pretty much learned how to sing listening to those guys.
Right. So when you're in the studio laying down your vocal tracks, do you do it as a band, or are you off on your own? Are you getting input from anybody, or are you just kind of isolated?
I usually am in a room by myself just to keep the feedback, the bleed over.
Right.
And I also have the option to go back and re-sing something if I'm in a room by myself. But yeah, when we're in the studio, there usually is suggestions of how to sing it, and I'm usually asking how should I sing this, or should I do it this way, or should I do it that way, or sing soft here or sing hard here. It's but yeah, there is a lot of suggestions and whatnot. Cool.
And I see the album wraps up with a tune called "Doin' Time," which has got a pretty cool guitar solo attached to it. Tell me, if you can, what was involved in getting that one together, and why is it at the end of the album?
John here put together the whole.
Hey, John.
Put the songs in the order his way. So
yeah.
Okay.
Curated it. I think I read that the other day. That's what they call it. I'm like, oh shit! Like rated that.
Curator.
I'm really not sure. I like stories to be told. I like to bring people up and then bring them down. Right. I don't want like a bunch of hard songs in a row, or too many soft songs in a row.
Yep.
And I like the idea of coming out with a bang, but also just bam, it kind of just ends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like that's the end of
abruptly. Yeah. And I just thought it was cool.
All right.
Obviously.
Do you want to talk about like the order and why you put them there? Like, why did you start with Stone's Throw, and then because it kind of.
Well, it for real, it took me like. I don't know if this is a long time or not, but like 3 hours. And I would just listen. Yeah. I'd just listening to a snippet of a beginning, and then listening to a snippet of an end, and putting them together and listening how they kind of flowed into each other. It's like, no, that's really not vibing for me, popping this one here and popping that one there. So it's funny, but I know nobody likes to hang out with me while I do it, because can you please just listen to a little bit more of the song? Like, no, I can't. I'm curating.
Curating. The question is, do they like to hang out with you when you're not doing it?
If we're getting
actually
paid
not
for
really. Yeah. You said if we're getting paid.
All right. So
we really don't like anyone either. We don't like each other.
Okay, that's noted. I can see
we
that.
use each other to pay our bills.
Fair enough.
Drive around in separate prevosts.
Yeah.
So what do you got planned for the 29th? Are you doing gigs? Are you celebrating? What's happening when the record comes out?
We got Drew's wedding. He backed our album release show, but we got we moved it to May 7th. We're doing it down in Fairhope, Alabama, which is down near us, and it'll be at a big amphitheater. Hopefully sell 2,500 tickets.
Cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
600 right now.
Yeah. And then
it's a walk.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big show, hopefully.
A big hootenanny.
Yeah.
Hootenanny. All righty. I'm up for a hootenanny. And I see you guys cover like Waylon Jennings and John Prine and Tony Joe White and people like that. How do you decide on who you want to cover?
Brandon turns around and says, "Y'all want to play this one?" we got our start. How we started was we played bars, playing 4-hour shows, all covers. And then, so I mean, we got covers in the bank.
Okay.
Brandon will pull one out on us, and we just go on.
We play 5 or 6 hours worth of covers.
Yeah.
If we wanted to.
Our encores, we got some fun covers to play.
We never got together and really worked up covers. We just a lot of them were just on stage. Hey, here's the song, here's the notes, pay attention and let's go.
A lot of them are stuff that we all grew up listening to, so we kind of had the gist of it a little bit.
Yeah, we don't play them note for note.
No, well, nobody wants that. That's what the radio
we
is
have
for.
our own spin on them for sure.
That's the way
It's fun.
always enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're not at that time we weren't trying to be a tribute band. We're just trying to get people in front of us so we can throw our music on them.
Me and Drew were playing a show last night, and this dude had tipped us. I think we played a cover. We played 7 Spanish Angels. And this guy come up. He was an older guy, and he come up and tipped us and said, "You guys aren't as good as Willie and Ray Charles, but you're still damn good." He turned around and
Who's as good as Willie and Ray Charles? Come on.
Yeah.
The next song after that, he was like, "Play something we know," and we were like, "Did we not just play something that you did know just now?" And then him and his wife were like sitting there arguing the whole time, and then they left.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Yeah.
At least he tipped you.
Excellent. Well, come on down to New Zealand if you ever get a chance.
Oh, yeah, we'd love to.
I would love to.
We're trying to.
You're trying to? Well, we won't stop you. That's for sure. We just opened up the borders. So
Literally on the other side of the planet.
yep, I know. Believe me.
We'll make it over there.
All righty. All right. Well, better run. Thank you guys for taking time to talk to me. It's great to meet all of you. Get back. Yeah, there you go. Get back to your practicing now. And good luck with the record when it comes out.
Thank
you
very
so much,
Good
my
talking
brother.
to you.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
How about you come on?